Well, we sent you the audio of Tyler Perry. I don't want you to take me at my word. And what did you hear that man saying?
He said it. Monique, you know you're not supposed to be recording people.
No.
You got knocked the out, man!
What's going on, y'all? What it is. So let's go ahead and slide on this topic, and I want to talk about Monique and some things that she covered on Shannon's podcast. I know you guys are probably tired and worn out about this particular topic, but at the end of the day, I supported Monique when she first came out with these accusations. I knew that Monique was going to come with the truth, and honestly, I was just so disappointed and disgusted with people within my community that really turned their back on Monique when she really needed our emotional support, and especially when Monique presented her issue and gripe with Netflix and she came to the internet and brought it to us. A lot of y'all chose to keep y'all subscription with Netflix over supporting this sister, and that says a lot about us as a community. And honestly speaking, a lot of y'all couldn't get past the fact that Monique was talking about being lowballed and offered $500K. It really wasn't all about the money. It was about the fact that there would be melanated women coming after her, and she wanted them to get their fair opportunity within the business and minimize the possibilities of those melanated women coming after her from having to fight as hard as she did and other melanated women before her. But anyway, within this interview that Monique did with Shannon Sharpe, everybody that she named, they wasn't catching strays, they were catching straight up slugs. She talked about Tiffany Haddish doing an interview with GQ magazine, and when Monique's name came up for whatever apparent reason, she basically said that she doesn't do business like Monique and she doesn't have that husband around her like Monique has around her. And so that really offended Monique, and she proceeded to drag Tiffany by her nostrils, and this is what she said about it.
And when I saw that, it's like, Tiffany, if you had a husband like mine, you may not have 2 DUIs. If you had a husband like mine, you may not be caught up in what looks like you could have been grooming a
Now, Monique also discussed her issue with DL Hughley and why she keeps her foot on his neck and things of that nature. And DL decided to respond to what Monique had to say on Shannon's podcast. So I want you guys to check out what Monique had to say about DL, and then I'm going to play DL's response to what she said about him.
They said, Monique, we want to play a game of Would You Rather. Let's go. Would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?
Really, Monique?
Now, as y'all are watching right now who haven't heard this story, y'all going, they doing the same thing in the studio. They going, okay. That is exactly what happened. Now, I'm going to call my brother. I call DL Hughley on the phone. I say, hey, baby. Yeah. I said, listen, I just got off the phone with your team and they wanted to play this game, Would You Rather? And it was like stupid. Like asking me about my husband and Lee Daniels and Corinne Steffens, and his exact words, well, that's how we do it.
Well, Club Shay Shay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club Shay Shay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who as a comedian talks as much shit about everybody else as she does. She has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that because Monique is a liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says D.L. Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was Monique bought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be in front of me. The lying. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real, except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history. Because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people, except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. There's a reason why everywhere she goes, she starts. Everywhere she goes. How is it that nobody with you, not even your family? How do you, I was on the road getting it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that. So basically, it seems that DL was very triggered. I believe everything that Monique said about the situation, and I'm going to continue to believe Monique because she hasn't told one lie yet. But I'm going to need DL to take accountability for not holding his homeboy at the time accountable for violating his daughter. DL is the one that let this dude walk away without pressing charges against this dude, and basically you failed your daughter, in my opinion. So you're gonna get upset with Monique for telling the truth in that particular situation. Look, man, it happened. DL admitted this publicly, and he said that his daughter kind of resented him for years, and finally they got over it. But at the end of the day, you sold your daughter short, and it is what it is. And so Monique and Sydney did respond to what, he had to say about the situation, and I'm gonna play that clip later. But what I wanna do right now is play you a clip of some leaked audio that Monique said that she had the whole entire time, was a factual receipt in regards to Tyler Perry admitting that he told people that Monique was hard to work with. So this audio leaked, and I'm wondering who leaked it. Did Shannon messy ass leak this audio? We don't know. But anyway, what I want to do right here is play you guys that audio, and then I'll be right back.
Y'all, so I just posted a video that Charlamagne publicly apologized to Monique on The Breakfast Club. Somebody hopped in my comments and said that the leaked audio of Tyler Perry admitting that he spread that rumor about Monique like wildfire, that she's difficult to work with, is leaked. I went and pulled it up. Here it go.
Tyler. Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yeah.
So the question I would say is...
Okay, is there a number? Taking that back to them was just a huge problem, okay? And I'll get to David Talbot thing in a minute, because I just watched your podcast, and it really broke my heart, because number one, I feel you. I feel the sadness that's from you in all of this. And I don't want you to feel that. I mean, especially for me. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening that award. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would have happened is in the next deal, you would have got more money, millions of dollars, and your career in this film would have been much different. I believe that much in your talent. So in saying all of that, I just say it's just heartbreaking, because I don't ever want you to think that I'm out trying to blackball or say anything. Please give me what I say. I'm not trying to hurt you. I would never try to hurt you.
If Monique asked Lionsgate for a favor and they told her no, and she's asking for a favor that is not contractual, not something that they're contractually obligated to do, and they told her no, but then she went and told the world how difficult that they were, do you think that that would be fair or unfair?
No, that's not fair. It's not fair.
So the question I would ask of you, good sir, because I appreciate you being honest enough to answer that with a relative quickness. I really do. So the question that I would ask you is this. If we should do unto others as we would have them do unto ourselves, the question I would ask is, how do you sit back, or how would you feel if someone said about you that you were difficult to work with because you didn't want to perform for them a function that you were not contractually able or obligated to do? How would you feel about that?
Well, as I said, that's not fair. If I bring a movie for Monique over there, I'm going to have to say it. I'm going to have to defend it. I'm going to have to fight for it.
Well, it's easy. It's easy because all you would be doing is telling the truth. You are 6'6" black man.
Come on. Listen, I ain't got no problem, man. I ain't got no problem. Trust me when I tell you, I ain't got no problem.
Well, that's why we saying then.
What I'm saying to you.
Then say it now. Say it now.
Say it now. I'm black and I'm proud.
Come on.
James Brown is counting.
I'm saying it now. I will let all of this cool off when I get back out on the press tour to promote my next thing. I know it's going to come up. That is when I will talk about it. But no, it's too hot.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that, and again, Monique was telling the truth. Just because she didn't play their game, Tyler and Oprah's game, they basically had her blackballed. They basically told people that she was difficult to work with. Monique ended up losing millions of dollars because of this lie. And so should Monique sue? She said that she wouldn't because she would hope that Tyler would do the right thing. And I like that about Monique. She's giving Tyler a chance to cut a check because she deserves it. But anyway, there was a few things that Monique talked about on Shannon's podcast that I didn't cover. I didn't talk about the Kevin Hart situation. Apparently, Kevin Hart basically had Monique on his podcast, and he basically talked about, the things that her and Tyler were going through within that podcast. And he said that he would reach out to Tyler and talk to him, and that he promised Monique that they would work together in the near future. And Kevin called her a week later and said, hey, I talked to Tyler, but Tyler didn't want to talk about the friction between him and Monique at that particular time. And then Monique heard it through the grapevine that Kevin's manager basically said that Kevin did not want to work with her. Monique also talked about Taraji breaking down, about being devalued in Hollywood and not being paid what she's worth. And she also talked about why Taraji's message was received better than hers. And basically she said that she's a big melanated woman and she didn't break down and cry, and she showed strength, and she had a strong husband beside her. And Taraji broke down and cried and don't have a strong husband beside her. And now all of a sudden everybody wants to run and render aid and have a level of contrition for Taraji's situation simply because she broke down and showed weakness. And she said within our community, we don't like to see other melanated individuals stand tall and be strong and show strength and perseverance and things of that nature. But anyway, I'm proud of Monique, and I'm glad that she never gave up. Obviously, something was wrong given the fact that Netflix settled. So this woman had a case and Netflix knew it. And again, Monique is a representation of how my mother was, even though my mother was a full-fledged Christian, how my aunt moves, how my sister moves. These are strong melanated women that will check you in a heartbeat and stand strong and not shed one tear. And this is why I can definitely relate to Monique, because I grew up with those type of women around me. But anyway, y'all, what I want to do right here is leave you all with this video of Monique and Sydney talking about the DL Hughley situation. They definitely responded to the things that he had to say. And so I want you guys to feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that I discussed within this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
We did it. We're gonna wait for y'all to come on in, my babies. We ain't done this in a long time.
We ain't done it in a long time.
We ain't done it in a long time, Daddy. Look, y'all don't even understand why we smiling so hard, because we was able to get it set up. We was able to push the button. Hey, come on now. We want you babies to come on in here. First of all, how y'all doing? It's been a minute, my babies.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Life been lifing. Life been lifing. Where we at, Daddy?
What do you mean?
Okay, yeah, I think it's enough babies in there.
All right.
Let's go get it. Come on.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We just wanted to take a few minutes to address a couple of things that have taken place after the Club Shay Shay interview. Much love to Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
Good brother. Thank you for allowing Monique to come on the platform, be a listening ear, continue success on what it is that you're doing. Thank you for being a real one.
Yeah, baby. Thank you. Thank you.
We wanted to address first and foremost our brother, D.L. Hughley. And we are firm believers on what is right and what is wrong.
Yes.
So we got to start off by saying there was an inaccuracy as it regards Monique saying that there was a cease and desist that was given to DL to shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
What had taken place, to be accurate, was after Monique spoke to Brother DL on that conversation, Brother DL said, what?
Well, after we spoke on that conversation, when we hung up that phone, the last thing he said was, it is what it is. And I said, DL, then we're going to have to get our attorney involved. That's the last thing me and DL Hughley said on that conversation.
And after having that conversation with Monique, we went and got our attorney involved, Attorney Anderson. At the time, there were some emails that were transferred back and forth between his side and our side, and it escalated to a point when we had our attorney on the email, whereby then finally DL said that he would scratch the interview.
Yes.
So it was inaccurate that a cease and desist had to be given. However, that was the next step, and that's what Monique remembered, because when I discussed it with her, we said that would be the next step. But to DL's credit, at that moment, when it had escalated, that's when he decided to shut it down. However, that is a bit different from how it seemed to have been communicated, whereby on the phone, they were having a conversation and it was kumbaya. Though he never used those words, kumbaya, It did not end with her being under the impression that this was going to be resolved and shut down. So we wanted to make that clear out of love and respect for Brother DL. And despite all the commentary that he gave, with all the crunches she be doing, the captain's in the front.
I do.
And
I do.
Tell him.
I'm a sneak snacker, baby.
And she doesn't sneak when she snacks.
Okay. Hey.
But nonetheless, we wanted to be clear, because at the end of the day, we black folks in this world of entertainment. And there was a level of harshness in his return that seemed a little bit exaggerated for the moment. And we wanted to make it clear, and I think Monique can do it best when she speaks in reference to what she meant while talking about DL in the past.
You know, when I watched DL say, she went after my wife, she went after my daughters, I want to really be clear who I went after so that there's no confusion here. When I was on stage, when I'm on stage and we are performers, we are performing to the audience in front of us. When I was on that stage and I said it must be hard to perform oral,
but differently.
Okay, on a coward. That had nothing to do with Mrs. Hughley. That insult was directed straight to you, DL. That had nothing to do with your wife. That was straight to you. So it felt like you were trying to pass it off as if I was going after your wife. When it comes to your daughter, to the baby that you did a post about, you did an interview about, I didn't do that interview. I simply reposted what you said. So when you say, Monique, you went after my daughter, that's untrue, DL. I posted what you said. And then when you said when you were really going for it with your shades on, and you said, Monique said, I stood by and watched my daughter. D.L. Hughley, that's your conscience talking to you, brother. I never said that. I never said that. And I want to be a little clear about something else. Never would I try to do anything to harm any of your babies, because we got babies too. So never would I try to do anything to harm your children. However, what I was saying to your daughter and to the other daughters out there, I know what it's like for your daddy to know you've been touched and he not protect you, because my daddy did the same thing. That's what that whole point was. But I was showing why I would call you a coward, brother. I don't think it's brave that you didn't protect your baby. So when I said what I was saying, let me be clear to you, D.L. Hughley, it had nothing to do in reference to your family, and you know that. Now, when you were speaking and you were going off and you said, what did you say? She was so offended by the game we play, but you didn't say what the offense was. And that's the part for me that is disheartening, that you continue to try to trick and smoke and mirror our people. If you're going to say it all the way through. When you say family is sacred, you are absolutely right, baby. You're right. But when you say would my husband rather, and you co-sign your team of people doing that, well, isn't my husband sacred? So you got to be careful in your words, because the very words you use, DL, they're going to come back, and they're coming back to bite you, baby. And what I also said on Club Shay Shay, when I looked in that camera, I said, DL, I love you, brother. And I don't know if you didn't hear that part, but we really do. We love you, brother. And if ever you get courageous enough to want to have a conversation, we're always open to it, because doing that, it shows how our community can get better. When you're wrong, as we have said to you, hey, brother, we apologize on that one.
Yeah, incorrect on the cease and desist. And I want to add one more thing. When you spoke in reference to your daughter being a reason why Monique stopped speaking about it, what you don't even understand, out of love for you, see, you can have a problem with your brother, but you're not going to take it out on the kids. And we respected the fact that she tried to defend you, but we got 3 big sons that if we were to think about it in the same way that she thought about it, what would that be? But out of love for you, we're not going to go after your child trying to protect the father that she loves. But one could argue, based upon what you said about yourself, had you exhibited the same type of love and protection for your other daughter that your other daughter tried to exhibit towards you, there never would have been the commentary that you made about yourself. And I liken it to Brother Corey Holcomb, who I don't know, but I got a lot of respect for him because I heard him say something in an interview. He spoke about how Earthquake's son had came to one of his shows, and the young man was hesitant about introducing himself or reintroducing himself because of the rift between his father and himself. And Brother Corey was like, come on, man, no, you come over here and I'm going to give you love, because that was between your father and I.